What's up, San Antonio? It's your girl JJ going live on Facebook during this COVID-19 year. I'm going to be talking a little bit about sports, music, things going on in San Antonio, and even a special guest or two may pop in. Feel free to share, comment throughout the show, and I hope you enjoy. Alright guys, another edition of King's Court with JJ and my special guest, of course, my cousin Aaron, all the way from Houston, Texas. Aaron, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Good. Actually, you're not even in Houston anymore, are you?
No, I'm not. I'm in College Station, but it's close enough to home to where sometimes I can get back pretty easily.
There you go. Well, we got a wild ride with sports this weekend, this past week in general. What do you want to start off with, buddy? Because we got to cover it all, obviously.
I mean, it doesn't matter to me. Today I just watched the end of the Bucks Heat game. I'm watching some of the FedEx Cup final for golf. There's going to be hockey on later tonight. Of course, the Rockets play tonight.
Yep.
Astros are playing right now. I mean, there's just so much going on. Sometimes it's hard to keep up with it, and I don't even know where to start.
Well, actually, the Milwaukee Bucks, finally pulled off a game right now.
Yeah.
And I guess we can start with the NBA because they just saved their season. I mean, Middleton actually just saved their season, with that three-pointer and then icing those two free throws. So why don't we jump in there?
All right.
I mean, would you have ever thought that the Milwaukee Bucks would have been down 3-0 to start this series?
I had a thought. They came into the bubble not necessarily playing their best basketball. I didn't think I didn't think they would go down this much. Obviously, they made a big win to keep their season alive, but I find it hard to believe that they're going to be able to skirt their way past the Heat. The Heat are one of the hottest teams in basketball. And if they don't have Giannis, it's going to be very hard to win another 3 games. So their season's probably over because nobody's ever come back from a 3-0 deficit in the NBA. But yeah, it's somewhat surprising. But at the same time, the Bucks haven't been playing their best basketball, so it can't be too surprising.
Yeah, I mean, Jimmy Butler and company over there is just killing it. And who would have thought we'd even be talking about Jimmy Butler in the playoffs at this level?
Oh, yeah, and I mean, it looks to me like they're playing with something to prove. Eric Spoelstra is still their coach. He was the coach during the LeBron and D-Wade and Chris Bosh years. I think he has something to prove. A lot of people have, wondered about his actual coaching ability and if he was just good because LeBron and D-Wade and those guys carried him. I think he has something to prove. I think Jimmy Butler has something to prove. And he's doing it with a lot of young talent also, which is pretty cool to see. I mean, Tyler Hero had a great game today. Almost was able to get them back and win that game. He was hitting some clutch threes down the finishing stretch. But yeah, they're playing really good basketball right now. And I wouldn't be too shocked to see them make it out of the East. I mean, obviously there's still some pretty good teams in both the Celtics and the Raptors on the other side, but it's going to be interesting to see how it goes, especially if they knock out that number 1 seed in the Milwaukee Bucks.
Yeah, I mean, just watching the game today and watching Milwaukee losing their MVP in the second quarter. I mean, that is kind of scary for Milwaukee fans. I know, obviously, coach has some ties to San Antonio, of course, former assistant coach here. So a lot of San Antonio people I know are watching and cheering him on and hoping they can pull something off with the George Hill and, some of the ties there as well. But, when you lose your MVP, it's everybody trying to just score and trying to figure things out. I just don't think next game, if he does not play again, we're in this situation where the Bucks are out of the playoffs.
Yeah, and I think, sometimes an injury like that actually can lift a team and they rally around it, at least for that game. But like I said, if he doesn't come back, I just don't think that they can sustain winning another 3 games in a row and uh, taking this series, especially with the way the Heat have been playing. And I think the most amazing thing with the Heat is that it always seems like if somebody is not playing well, somebody's stepping in and filling that role. I mean, you saw it in the last series when they clinched that series. Jimmy Butler had like 17 points, something like that, or was it in the first game of this series? And somebody stepped up uh, and pushed them through. Uh, and then, but yeah, I mean, I just don't see without Giannis, without your MVP in the game of basketball. Obviously, in some sports, it's a little bit easier to get by, but in basketball, it definitely hurts more than most sports.
Definitely. Let's talk the upcoming game tonight. Obviously, we're all going to be glued to ABC later on tonight, but of course, the Rockets and the Lakers. You know, that's a shocking little game there we had going on.
Yeah, I mean, I don't expect the Rockets to, just go out and blow out the Lakers. It was a great game that they played. I mean, PJ Tucker played an amazing game of defense on Anthony Davis, undersized but not outmatched. And if they continue to play like that, I don't think they'll go ahead and sweep the Lakers. I don't think anybody expects that. The Lakers are too good of a team, and LeBron just isn't going to let that happen. But if they continue to play like that, I could definitely see them getting past the Lakers. You remember the first game after the Capella trade was against the Lakers, and everybody doubted the Rockets, and they still went into LA and was able to take that game. So small ball has been working. They do need to cut down on the turnovers. I did see a little bit of too many turnovers in that first game that I'd like to cut down. But I mean, I think this is going to be a really good series, really close series. I could see this going 7 games.
Yeah, I just the way that PJ shut down Anthony Davis was insane. I mean, this is your superstar. You're getting all the big bucks. You're supposed to at least be able to score. I think he had like 0 points in the fourth quarter, if I'm not mistaken.
He had 0 points when he was guarded by PJ Tucker. So it was an amazing performance from PJ Tucker on the defensive side.
Of course, that game will kick off 7:30 actually Central Time, and of course Milwaukee sneaks by Miami by 3, 118-115. Season series tied with Boston and Toronto Raptors. What do you think about that one?
I mean, I think that has the ability to go to 7 games also. I really like the Boston Celtics coming into this. I think that they had a team really built to come into the bubble. I really like Jason Tatum, and Kemba Walker has become, one of the best point guards in the game, and he's really excelled with taking on this bigger role on a bigger team. I still think that the Celtics will pull this one out. I think their team is a little bit better built right now to take on this kind of series. But at the same time, you're also going up against the defending champions, and anything can happen there.
The other day, I mean, watching that game and watching Toronto kind of fight back, and the block. I believe it was. He used to play for the Oklahoma City Thunder. Serge Ibaka's block at the rim was just, I mean, I think that one play was the play that really turned things around when he blocked that dunk. And I don't know. I mean, Boston just needs to start shooting. Kemba needs to take over. And like you said, I think Boston can pull it out, but they really gotta pass that ball around and work a little bit on that defense towards the fourth quarter. I think they kind of gave up in the fourth quarter defensively, they had been playing the first 3 quarters. So that's something I don't know. We just gotta watch and see tomorrow night for sure. Of course, Game 3, the Clippers and Denver. That's another one, 1-1. I think the Clippers get their act together tomorrow. And
Yeah, we saw it a little bit in game 2. The Nuggets are playing good basketball right now. You have to at this point. But the Clippers with their star power, it's going to be really tough for the Nuggets
it is.
to do anything against them.
It is. But I honestly think it's going to be the Clippers. And buddy, I'm going to go with you on this one. If Houston can really stay on top of their game, they're going to be going to the conference finals.
Mhm.
Obviously Miami's going to advance, but I really think Boston's going to pull it out, and we're going to have a new champion this year.
I think so too.
So we'll know more next week, but we'll see how that goes. But I really, really think that tomorrow's games are going to be pretty good. Boston's probably going to take that one. Clippers are going to probably take that one. And tonight, if PJ Tucker can play some good defense again against Anthony Davis, LeBron's going to have to carry the team, and I just don't know. He doesn't have the people he had in Miami to help.
Mhm.
The Dwayne Wades, the Udonis Haslams, he just doesn't have enough support over there. I don't think. I think they're still too young around him.
Yeah.
Obviously, Danny Green's kind of a veteran, but he's not shooting the ball well at all.
Yeah, and when watching the game yesterday, there was a lot of times they were leaving Danny Green open, which scared the hell out of me. Knowing what he's capable of from beyond the arc and when he's able to get his shot off, that's definitely not a game plan that I would consider to keep playing if I was the Rockets. But at the same time, he did look off, and if he's off again, the Rockets definitely need to take advantage of that and put primarily their focus on LeBron and Anthony Davis. Because if you stop those two, you have a pretty good shot at beating the Lakers. Also, another veteran, they have Rajon Rondo coming back, and he was able to play in the first game. I didn't see a whole lot from him, but I would assume that with his veteran experience, and especially experience in the playoffs in this type of situation, they would look towards him for a little bit more leadership as well.
Yeah, and us Spurs fans, obviously, if we want to see the Lakers fall, we're gonna hope that the Danny Green of 2013 shows up and doesn't make any shots for the Lakers. So I'm praying Danny Green of 2013 shows up and Houston actually gets back in the flow of things and back out there. I would love to see Houston advance. I think it would be good, for a lot of Texas to kind of see a team, get back into that championship mode. So I'm really hoping the Rockets do kind of pull it off, whether, it obviously over LA, but then against the Clippers as well, and advance back there, and hopefully they can be hoisting that trophy for us here soon. But we'll know more in a few days. We'll see where we're at in a few days on that one. But let's jump over to NHL hockey. Obviously last time we talked about a little bit about hockey, but I have to tell you, I started watching, and 3 Game 7s were amazing.
Oh yeah. Stars Avalanche was an incredible series. The Flyers and Islanders was a great series, and the other one was
Vancouver and Vegas Knights.
The Vancouver and Vegas, and that's what you get with playoff hockey. That's high intensity. I've been a little interested this year because there have been a lot of goals scored, which kind of surprised me. Usually, these games are really low scoring, but even with the high scoring games, it's still been super intense games, and I'm really looking forward to these conference finals.
Yeah, the Dallas Stars game, 5-4, obviously they beat Colorado in OT. But, Colorado had 6 players injured, 1 starting and backup goalie. How important is that to protect your net?
The goalie position is the most important in hockey, but it's definitely unfortunate when you have those types of injuries, especially to the guy between the pipes. and they just ran into a Stars team that has been rolling. And it was unfortunate, but they really played their butts off and really made it a fun series to watch. Uh, I think all of the games were decided by one or two goals. A lot of them went to overtime.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a really fun series to watch. And the Stars fandom is a very devout fandom. They've really grown the sport in the state of Texas, and it's been pretty cool to see. I'm not a Stars fan. I don't care much for Dallas sports in general, but anything that gets the game growing in states that don't necessarily aren't necessarily as interested in it, I like. So I'll be interested to see what the Stars do against the number one seed Golden Knights.
We talked about the Golden Knights last time, and I'm a fan of the Golden Knights, but obviously another Texas team trying to get past the conference finals. Game 1 tonight at 7, but I really, really want to see the Golden Knights win this. Game 1 starts today, Game 2 on Tuesday, Game 3 on Thursday, and Game 4 on Saturday, actually. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm really looking forward to that series. Obviously, yes, I want a Texas team to win, but the Golden Knights, I really, really enjoy watching them. And of course, the Islanders obviously beat Philadelphia Flyers to advance as well. Philadelphia, of course, only had 6 goals from their top 5 forwards. That's just insane. I mean, you can't win a game when your best players can't score.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what it comes down to. If you're not scoring, you're not going to win. And the Islanders might be the hottest team in hockey right now, which is kind of weird to say because if you followed hockey in the years past, the Islanders were kind of the kind of pushover team, and they've really turned their franchise around really quickly.
Mm-hmm.
The Lightning are going to be really tough to beat. They've been one of the most successful teams in the last couple of years. And they made it to the Stanley Cup Finals a couple times. So they're going to be really tough to beat, and I think that's going to be a really good series as well because you have one of the hottest teams in hockey going up against one of the best teams in hockey. And in this sport, I've seen a lot of crazy things happen, especially in the Stanley Cup playoffs. And I mean, I'm really excited to watch these two conference finals series.
So New York, obviously, they beat the Capitals and the Flyers. But what's funny in again, I'm back to my New York state of mind here, but they have not been to the Stanley Cup Finals or even a championship since 1984.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the Rangers obviously are has kind of always been that team to dominate New York hockey too. But I mean, the Islanders to be able to get back against a team like Tampa Bay, who was there in 2018, 2016, and they have one of the best players in Braden Point as well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
and I think the Islanders benefited a lot from moving to Brooklyn, along with the Brooklyn Nets.
Mm-hmm.
It's really grown their popularity, and I think that financially it helped them a lot being in that bigger market.
Yeah, Braden Point, one of their top scorers for the Tampa Bay Lightning, obviously has 6 goals and 12 assists leading the way for them. So that's going to be a good series. That kicks off tomorrow. And then, of course, Game 2 on Wednesday, Game 3 on Friday, and Game 4 on Sunday. So, it's 4 teams. It's all about the battle right now. And this is going to be one to watch. I guarantee it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
All right, that's NHL. I was just I have been watching a little bit of tennis, and I'm not really into it right now because I can't be there actually working and doing stuff. So,
Mm-hmm.
but Novak Djokovic, I think his name is. I don't even know.
Djokovic. Novak Djokovic.
Did you see he got defaulted?
I did. I actually texted that to my grandmother. I know she's a big tennis fan, and I actually watched the video. It's pretty crazy. I mean, it looked unintentional to me, but from what I've read up, the governing body kind of has a rule where if you strike a referee and they have to be removed from the from the match. It's an automatic default, and there's not really any leeway around there. So I feel bad for Djokovic. He's obviously the number one player in the world right now. He's really fun to watch, but at the same time, he made a mistake and he has to own up to it.
Yeah, that I'm watching him because they've been showing it. And the first one he did was towards the sideline, which was pretty aggressive. And then he did it again a second time, and that's when he hit the lady line judge and in the throat actually, or just above the chin somewhere. But I mean, it's a rule. You can't do it. You can't do it. And he definitely did it, and it cost him pretty big. And all those Vegas bets, if any, just went down the drain on that one.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah,
man,
absolutely.
I know Aunt Judy's probably upset, but yeah, I mean, that's a weird way to go out in a major tournament.
Absolutely, especially for one of the best players in the sport.
So let's talk a little baseball. I know we got a lot of games going on today, and the Houston Astros are just kind of falling apart a little bit.
Yeah, they are, and it's not that they're not scoring runs. The offense has been there. It's the bullpen, and I knew from the beginning that bullpens were going to be a big part of this year, especially with starters. Getting out of their rhythm from spring training, they'd usually be going longer games around this time, and I mean their bullpen is definitely struggling. They've also been struggling with injuries, and when those two mix, it's never a really good sign. And they're down two runs right now in the eighth, and they got bases loaded with one out, and it's not looking good for this game. I mean, they've had the lead in all the games against the Angels this series, and they just haven't been able to pull it out. So that bullpen is definitely hurting. I wish they would have made a move at the trade deadline for a relief pitcher, but they didn't, and now they're just kind of working with what they got, and it's not looking good.
Yeah, and the Yankees too are obviously hitting the slump with the injuries as well. So they're struggling. They lost again at Baltimore 5-1. Atlanta 10-3. Freddie Freeman, he's been hitting pretty good.
Oh yeah.
Very, very crazy guy there. I mean, they're kind of rolling, with the young guys, and then you have Freddie Freeman out there just hitting grand slams and really, really hitting the ball very, very well for them.
Yeah, and Atlanta got off to a really slow start, so we all knew what they were capable of doing. They've been a playoff team the last couple of years, and they've been a really fun team to watch. And them getting hot and they're getting hot at the right time. I'm sure everybody would rather start slow and finish strong than start strong and finish slow. So it'll be interesting to see what they can do if they can contain this hot streak.
Yeah, and Milwaukee too. Milwaukee, is kind of surprising me because they had such a good season last year. The way they're coming out now is, they start up and they get on this roll, and then all of a sudden they just sink back down, and they're losing like 3-4 games in a row. Obviously, they lost today 1-4 against Cleveland. That's another surprising team for me right now.
Yeah, I think they are hurting because of the schedule that they have to play. Both the AL Central and the NL Central are both really strong right now. The NL Central more so than the AL, with the Cubs, the Cardinals, the Reds. It's a tough division, and then when you have to back it up while playing the Indians and the White Sox, who are rolling right now, and the Twins, who have a powerhouse lineup, it's definitely going to wear on a team. And their MVP, I mean, he started off slow. He hasn't really been producing at his MVP rate that he normally does. And it's going to be really tough for them coming down the stretch if they don't improve.
Yeah, it's just this whole season, all these games going on, these bubble games and the virus, and can't play because of this and can't play because of that. I don't know if it's taking a toll now on baseball players in general because of that. They're
Yeah, I mean, I can see that, but at the same time, there's also a lot of exciting stuff that's happening in the game of baseball. You look at the young teams like the Padres, the White Sox, and these teams that are able to kind of push through it. I think it's taken a toll on a lot of the older players. You see a lot of injuries this year, but at the same time, you get to see these young guys really step in and kind of prove what they or and you kind of see them trying to prove themselves. Uh, and there's been a lot of call ups from the minors, and we've been able to see a lot of major league debuts this year, which has been pretty cool to watch.
Yeah, that has been. And I'm watching a side game here. The Cubbies against St. Louis Cardinals actually just tied this one up with a home run. 1-1 in the first inning. Actually, Javier Baez is up, but Rizzo with another home run shot. Um, he's something else sometimes. When he really starts to get hot, he can take it. I mean,
Oh yeah, I mean everybody loves a left-handed bat, and Rizzo's got one of the best in the game right now. And he mixes it well with a solid glove at first base. So he's definitely one of the more exciting players to watch when he gets it going.
yep. And Javier Baez, one of the most exciting players to watch. Really holding down that second base. But this game is obviously the Cubs and the division leaders, in first place, and obviously St. Louis in second. But, this is every game counts for baseball right now. I mean,
Oh, absolutely.
and watching Garrett Cole and some of the other pitchers like Atlanta losing their starting pitcher, how important is pitching right now in this rough, quick, fast-paced season?
Well, I mean, we're already past the halfway point in the season. You're only getting 60 games, and we're already 31 games in for most teams. So pitching becomes extremely important. Uh, Garrett Cole just has not been what he was last year, and maybe that's because he had to take a break. Maybe that's because of different guidelines based on balls. After you pitchers like certain baseballs a certain way. And with these new rules in place, the baseball is only in there for a little bit of time. So when you find a ball that you like and you're really rolling with it, it gets taken out of play, and then you get upset. We saw it in one of the Yankees inner squads where Garrett Cole found a ball that he liked. He got a couple strikeouts, and then they said, "All right, we got to throw it out." And he was like, "Well, I like that ball." And next pitch with a new baseball, he gave up a homer. Pitchers are kind of weird like that. They like everything their way. And Garrett Cole had a lot of success in Houston. I think a lot of his struggles this year have also come from the fact that his pitching coach in Houston, Brent Strom, isn't with him. Brent Strom has a track record of improving players' careers and really having great seasons with them. And when you lose that guidance, when you lose that ability to work through certain issues, it can hurt, and it's showing with Garrett Cole.
Yeah, it definitely is, and the struggle is real for him, and I just hope he can figure something out real quick. If not, the Yankees are going to be in trouble, obviously. The New York Mets actually played a game today and just blew out the Phillies. The Phillies only scoring one run, and obviously the Mets 14 runs. Pete Alonso with a multi-home run game. Who would have thought? Pete Alonso again. Here we go. 2 home runs for the Mets.
Yeah, Pete Alonso is definitely fun to watch if you like hitting homers. The guy led the NL as a rookie in home runs last year. Was the rookie of the year last year. The Phillies have a very struggling pitching staff. Their bullpen, along with, is probably the worst in baseball right now. I think statistically they're one of the worst of all time, which is crazy when you think about it. And they've been giving up a ton of runs. I'm actually looking at their stats right now. They've given up 193 runs against, which is it looks like it's top 5 in the league.
Wow.
So they trailed the Red Sox, they trail the Royals, the Rangers, and the Angels, and so the Phillies have given up a ton of runs, and I believe Bryce Harper got injured, so that's a big loss to the Philadelphia Phillies if they're going to move forward. They are still in second place right now in their division, but the Marlins and the Mets are coming up right behind them.
Yeah. And let's go back to Bryce Harper. I mean, the other day he got ejected. What he was, what he said to the umpire was not what was coming across on the TV screen. I just don't get it. The guy just needs to kind of shut up and play baseball.
Yeah, and I mean the guy's having a phenomenal year. Everybody likes to clown on him because he does these antics, but at the same time, this guy's an MVP and he's the star of the Philadelphia Phillies, and everybody knows he's got a tendency to be a little bit of a hothead.
Yep.
But you can't afford to make those kinds of mistakes in a season like this, and
Nope.
he is unfortunately gonna have to live with that, and hopefully get past it and try to continue his season and keep his run of form.
Yeah, I mean it's just sad to watch him. I mean, when he throws those tantrums and then hurts his team by getting ejected, so it's not helping any. But ML League leaders actually, Trey Turner, obviously the batting average, 365 for a shortstop. I haven't seen that in quite some time.
It's been quite a while. Being able to hit up near the 400 mark is incredible, regardless of if it's a shortened season. And Trey Turner's doing a heck of a job doing that for sure.
Fernando Tatis obviously leading the way with 15 home runs. And of course, he's also leading the way in runs with 43. This guy is just insane to watch.
He's so fun to watch. He was mic'd up the other day, and it was incredible to listen to him. It was a lot of fun, and that's kind of what you want as a face of baseball and a face of your franchise, is somebody who can be extremely charismatic and have a lot of energy. He's probably my favorite player to watch right now. And he continues to get better, and there's no telling where he's going to go. I think he's definitely a lock for the face of baseball for the next couple years. But yeah, he's a ton of fun to watch, and we'll see if he's able to continue this home run streak that he's on, because it's been a long time since we've seen something like this out of the shortstop position.
Do you think he's going to help be able to push San Diego past the Dodgers?
I don't know. Their entire offense has been clicking. They went on that run of 4 straight games with a grand slam. Their offense is really, really good. And it's going to come down to, if their bullpen can hold up. I think they've done a great job. Last year they had one of the best bullpens in baseball, and this year they've struggled a little bit, but they have turned it around in some games. It's going to be tough to get past the Dodgers. I mean, you have a lot of star power over in LA, and I'll be interested to see it. And I really want to look forward to a battle like that in the playoffs and for the future.
Yeah, I mean, just watching the young guns coming out is just really, really amazing. Like you said, he was mic'd up, and the stuff he was just talking about, and his charisma on camera was just amazing to watch. And it's good to see that, because obviously we have no fans. We can't get that real interaction with them, but to see it on TV and listen to him talk, and that was really, really cool that they did that. And I think he's going to be the future of baseball. I really, really do.
Absolutely. I mean, you want a guy like that to kind of be the face of your league, and he's definitely up for that task. It looks like.
Do you think it truly does help that we're looking at the juniors of what was, the Biggio, the former players' kids now playing? Do you think it helps that their parents went through the league?
I think it helps them a ton. I mean, just the mentorship of having your father play in the league and know what it takes to get there, and especially how to act once you get to that spot. I think you see it from these players. I mean, you have the Fernando Tatis, you have Vladimir Guerrero Jr., you have Kevin Biggio, Bo Bichette, all these young guys with, superstar fathers who have been giants in the sport and have made it to the Hall of Fame and done all these great things. But at the same time, we're also some of the most humble players in the sport and the most respected players in the sport. So I believe that them being able to have that guidance from their fathers, obviously, they're fantastic talents and whatnot, but their character is really showing in the way they were raised. And, they have obviously the ability to be really, really good and really and have really solid careers.
Yeah, and I think what was funny is, I kind of remember the Ken Griffey Jr. days, watching him and his father play on the same team. And I think that was amazing to watch. Like, I never would have thought father-son duel on the same team, but that was pretty cool. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
we're obviously probably never will see that again, but to be able to see these young guys, like you said, coming up, their experience and being in the clubhouse as a kid, and then knowing, hey, this is what it is. This is how
Mm-hmm.
it goes. I mean, just being able to see those ropes, I think they have a huge advantage. Um, I think Roy Halladay's son, soon to be MLB star as well, pitching, I think, right? Isn't his son a pitcher as
Yeah.
well?
Mm-hmm.
Those are the kind of people that I think is going to benefit the most. They were around you know, these locker rooms, and to be able to see that, I think they have a good understanding of how it is to be a player, and what it really takes. And it's just amazing to watch. Of course, we're talking about
Absolutely.
baseball, but the the St. Louis Cardinals lost a legend today. I don't know if you know that. Luke Brock,
Yeah, I actually saw it not too long ago.
81-year-old, um, 19 major league career, 19-year major league career, obviously with the Cubs as well. But man, icon right there too. Hall of Famer.
Yeah, and the baseball community was already hurting with the loss of Tom Seaver,
Mhm.
and so this just adds to that. Lou Brock, his entire career was phenomenal. Led the league in stolen bases a
Yep.
number of times. Was the major league record holder of stolen bases until Ricky Henderson broke that record. And above all else, he was just a tremendous human being and well respected around the league. And that's a big loss for baseball, especially after the loss of Tom Seaver as well.
Yeah, baseball obviously taking another hit, but yeah, that's a big loss. And as you watch these games, and I know you and I have watched baseball for a very, very long time, and these guys are getting older, we're getting older, so watching these icons that we grew up watching, uh, obviously passing on is tough. It's kind of weird for me to see that some of these guys that we got to see, and things going on. But
Yeah, and obviously I didn't get to see Lou Brock play, but as a baseball fan and
mhm.
somebody who's uh extremely interested in baseball history, it's a huge loss. So, but that's kind of life right now. And 2020 has already proven not to be kind, and it
Yep.
continues to not be kind. So, uh, but yeah, definitely a huge loss for the sport, and something that's gonna hurt the baseball world for a little while.
Yeah, and speaking of, or on this loss of life, you know, some of the people that we've lost over the past week too, Coach Thompson, obviously from Georgetown, that's a huge loss too for the NCAA community.
Oh, absolutely, and obviously Coach Thompson was so well respected
Mm-hmm.
in all sports. I mean, you'd see all the uh, outpouring support of Coach Thompson and his loss. I think back to Allen Iverson's Hall of Fame speech
Mm-hmm.
when he was literally crying at the podium
Yep.
talking about how he gave him a second chance at life.
Yep.
A coach
Saved
is
his life.
oftentimes and a coach is oftentimes some of the most influential people in the kid's life,
Mm-hmm.
and Coach Thompson definitely proved that he was more than just a basketball coach,
Mm-hmm.
and that's definitely a huge loss for the Georgetown community and for basketball as a whole.
Yeah, you know, Patrick Ewing just, kind of broke down the other day when they kind of interviewed him, and the impact that he had on his players was amazing. And
Hmm.
I'm always going to remember him as the coach that had the towel. Coach Thompson always had that towel on his shoulder, and you knew this. I mean, we're talking about a I think he was like 6'5", 6'6" coach. He stood out, and definitely stood out with that towel on his shoulder, and he was one hell of a coach. I tell you that.
Absolutely.
So he will be deeply missed. Of course, Clifford Robinson, Portland Trailblazers, Phoenix Suns. Um, One of my favorite players from UConn, as well, passed away. He had a stroke, and then he was in a coma, and you know, just this 2020's got to hurry up and get over with, because I
Yeah,
I don't know
it
how much
definitely
more we
does.
can take.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and of course, aside from sports, the loss of Chadwick Boseman, who,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a big loss, especially for such a young,
Huge.
talented actor, and obviously touched the sports world with his portrayal of Jackie Robinson in
Mm-hmm.
the movie 42, which is one of my favorite movies. I actually
Yep.
watched it the day that he passed, because I just had to be reminded of that, and of course his role as Black Panther in the Marvel cinematic universe. It's definitely been a tough year,
Mm-hmm.
and hopefully there's some light at the end of this dark tunnel.
And how ironic. I mean, it's just, baseball gods, movie gods, whatever you want to call it. But how ironic that on Jackie Robinson Day, he passes away. Like,
It was incredibly ironic, and
I mean, that's kind of weird. It gives me chills just talking about it again. But wow, 42 on 42, it's just crazy, crazy, crazy.
mhm,
But
absolutely.
all right. Well, we obviously have the NFL kicking off this Thursday. The Texans, obviously, of course, signing their quarterback 4-year deal, $160 million, 111 guaranteed. What's the feel for that right now?
You know, I don't think there's many people in the NFL that are more deserving than Deshaun Watson.
Mm-hmm.
He's and not necessarily for his ability on the field, but what he does off the
Off the
field
field. Mm-hmm.
and the character that he brings along with him. Uh, I mean, I got a little emotional when watching the video of his family crashing his press conference and just seeing the emotion on his face. Um, and as a Texans fan and as a native Houstonian, I am more than happy with Deshaun Watson being the face of our franchise, and knowing that he deserves that money and knowing that it's going to the right person makes me feel a lot better about my team spending that kind of money.
Yeah, I mean, it's I'm glad we got it out of the way, before the season starts and in the middle of the season talking about it. I'm glad they got it taken care of before. Um, Kind of funny we waited, right before kickoff week, but at least it's out of the way. And I like you said, what he does off the field is amazing. I know he gave his paycheck to a lot of the cafeteria workers back when Harvey hit,
Mhm.
which I thought was incredible. What a guy. I mean, just some of the things he's done is simply amazing. Another JJ Watt type guy off the
Yeah,
field.
absolutely.
Um so, he is definitely deserving of this, not just for his, like you said, for his field play, but his off the field contributions that he does give. So kudos to him. Congratulations on that. That's gonna make a lot of people around him, very, very happy because of some of the things that he does do with his money and obviously the different organizations that he works with. So
Exactly.
that's pretty cool to see. Former Houston Texan Clowney, obviously a 1-year deal with the Titans worth $15 million. I'm not sure about that. I don't know. I'm a little worried about
Well,
that deal.
well, when Clowney's healthy, he's one of the best defensive players in the game. I being a native Houstonian, I hate everything that has to do with the Tennessee Titans, and
Mm-hmm.
but so it's a little bit sad to see him go to that
Yep.
team and make them an already, an already good team a better team. So it's going to be really tough for the Texans to have to deal with that. And obviously he's been plagued. Jadeveon Clowney's been plagued with injuries for a lot of his career, and I hope he's able to stay healthy. But at the same time, I hope we still are able to beat him. But I wish him luck in Tennessee, and Tennessee got a great player.
Yeah, and Adrian Peterson also signing with the Lions. That just kind of broke through today as well. That's I really hope the Lions can make this work. Um, I'm still a Barry Sanders fan, and I just don't know if they're ever gonna get that true running back to replace what they had before.
Yeah, and I was a little shocked by the Washington football team. I have to struggle not to say Redskins when I say
Yeah,
that,
I
but
know.
because it's not natural to me. But I was a little bit surprised by Washington's release of him, especially after
Hmm.
releasing Darius Geis, who obviously had off the field issues with his assault allegations. And Adrian Peterson, I don't think anybody ever expects him to get to the caliber of running back that he once was. Uh, Obviously, he's still more than capable of playing this sport. Um, and Detroit has been kind of promising, but not quite at that level the last couple years. And we'll see how much he actually can affect that organization. I mean, obviously, anytime you get a player like Adrian Peterson on your team with his veteran approach and obviously his career numbers, and obviously if going to be a Hall of Famer one day, it definitely has a way of uplifting your franchise.
Yeah, and watching, football. I don't know. Are they allowed to have fans? Do you know? I know the Cowboys are going to have limited amount of fans. Do you know if everybody else
Yeah,
is opening it up?
I believe the Kansas City Chiefs are going to be at 25% capacity. At least that's what they were planning to do.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen much more about that, which is kind of weird, um, considering we are now 4 days away
Mm-hmm.
from the first game. Um, but I think the NFL is kind of letting it be a team by team basis, and I hope that we can get fans in the stands in all sports very soon. But especially in football, fans are so devoted to football and that atmosphere, and I know the players are going to want those fans in there too, especially when it comes down to close games, and they really feed off of that energy in the stands.
Yeah, I really think Jerry Jones called up Governor Abbott and was like, "Hey, I need butts in the seats." So yeah,
Yeah,
you know, I
yeah.
think that's what it's coming down to. You know,
Mhm,
they're gonna lose money in these big stadiums, so hey, we need to start putting people in them somehow. And
yeah.
I just hope we can get through this week. Obviously, with everything going on and the holiday, I really, really hope football can kick off and we have a week 2 of football and not
Mhm.
a hiatus. But, I don't know how, if COVID does strike a team, can it be like baseball and you postpone the game for the following week? Or, how do you make these games up if it hits that point?
Yeah, football is going to have a lot of trouble trying to do that. Obviously, with baseball, they have a little bit more leeway
Mm-hmm.
where they play more games and they play more frequently to where they can reschedule these games. And I think they've done a good job with scheduling double headers. I don't necessarily think the 7 inning rule does anything to help it, but it'll be interesting to see. I mean, I'm wondering if we may see the possibility of them scheduling a game not on a Sunday or a Thursday or a Monday, but some weird day in between. It's going to be interesting. I'll be following my fantasy football stuff a lot, so that's what I do during the football season. But I'll be interested to see how it all plays out.
Yeah, and this whole COVID thing, obviously, I know we stopped talking about basketball, but I was I had been like, wow, I didn't think the NBA was going to make this happen, you know, being in the bubble. And then all of a sudden they pulled it off. WNBA pulled it off. But I was upset when they got to the playoffs for the NBA. The NBA allowed the family members to come in for the playoffs.
Mhm.
Great. That is freaking amazing. I love the fact that these NBA players can see their families. The only thing was, if you're a coach, you can't have no family there. I
Right.
don't understand that. I don't understand it. From either you're an assistant coach, a coach, your family should be there. I know some of the coaches are missing their family. I know the coach from Denver about lost his mind the other day in a press conference because he misses his family and he wants to
Mhm.
see them. And I just can't believe the NBA put that one stupid rule in the rule book about this.
Oh, absolutely. And it's ridiculous, honestly. If you're going to allow the players to be able to see their families um, and do all these things, the coaches are people too, and they miss their families, and
Mm-hmm.
it's important that to them that their families are around them during this time.
Yeah, especially having a young, what we consider a young coach in the coach from Denver. I mean, he's not, Greg Popovich and he's not Alvin Gentry, but, you know, he's got a family. He's got young kids that need their dad. And I was very, very upset when he went off. I think it was on Tuesday or Wednesday. He just let the press have it that he was upset about that one rule. And I could not believe it. I mean, I didn't think the NBA would say that, but it's funny because it allows the referees to bring one guest,
Mhm.
but yet the coaches can't have any. But, it is what it is. Obviously, um, I know if Tim Duncan was in the playoffs right now, I know Vanessa would have lost her mind if she couldn't go see Tim. Um,
Mhm.
and it just sucks that they have that stupid rule. But hopefully, back to the NFL. Hopefully, they can actually get these games underway and not have to worry about COVID. If COVID does strike them, I don't see how they can make these games up, and it could really, really dampen this season really quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. It's almost like you need to have a extended break between the regular season and the playoffs just in case something like this
Mm-hmm.
happens. You can, just reschedule that to the end of the season and have 1 or 2 weeks available in case
Mm-hmm.
something like that does happen.
And
Um,
I don't even think they really plan for that because as I'm looking at the schedule, there's no real planning for that if something
mhm.
does happen. And that to me is a little scary. Um I just I don't know. I just can't really. see that happening. You know,
Mhm.
let's stay on the NFL and talk about Tom Brady. Do you think he helps Tampa Bay get out of the NFC South? You know, over New
Um,
Orleans.
you know, Tom Brady has proved time and time again that, he's the greatest quarterback of all time. And that sucks for me to say because I grew up a huge Peyton Manning fan, but
Hmm.
you can't you there's not really much else that he can do in this sport to discredit him. And I think Tampa Bay has done a fantastic job of not only getting Tom Brady, but but putting other offensive pieces around them. With the addition of bringing back Rob Gronkowski from retirement and just now signing Leonard Fournette, who was released
Hmm.
by the Jacksonville Jaguars. Um, they have a really, really good chance of putting up a lot of points, especially with Tom Brady. I'd be interested to see what their defense does and to see what they're able to do. The Saints and Drew Brees and Sean Payton, they're not going to go down easy,
Hmm.
and so it's going to be interesting to see. And at the same time, you also have the Carolina Panthers, who could possibly come out also with Christian McCaffrey, who might be the best running back in the NFL right now, and new quarterback, new coaches, and a new offensive scheme with Joe Brady as the offensive coordinator for the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, and you know, I'm looking at the schedule for Sunday, and there's one game that I never would have thought I'd want to watch this, and it involves Team W, the Redskins and the Eagles game. I really want to see Alex Smith back on the sideline.
Yeah, I'm incredibly happy, but also surprised that Alex Smith is going to
Mhm.
make his return back to football.
Mhm.
I never would have thought after seeing his injury and what it's done to him that he would be suiting it back up on the
Mhm.
sidelines for a Sunday football game.
Yeah.
Because he's one of the good guys in the sport. He always has been. He's always uh, been very respected. And even though he's probably not going to get any playing time, I think just having him on the
Yeah.
sidelines is a great sight, and seeing the reaction from his family and him when he was cleared to return to football activity, it was a great sight to see.
Yeah, and he was actually here in San Antonio, um, you know, at the rehab facility that they have here for the military. If any of or anybody checked out E60, the special on him, that is something to watch. Just what he went through, you know, for almost a year, or the first 176 days were the most crucial time for him, and that was a special that I just could not believe how that all transpired within like a week or two. You know,
Yeah, I mean he almost lost
lost
his
his
leg
leg.
completely,
Mhm.
and now he's returning to football, and uh, that he's ecstatic that he's able to do that because I know he missed the game as much as anybody would when they played any sport for so long and have to take an extended period of time
Mhm.
off. So it's gonna be good for him, and I think it's definitely good for Washington's young quarterback to have his guidance on the sideline.
Definitely. Fantasy football, you talked about it. Obviously, it kicks off. People are going to go crazy for it. But we're looking at it right now. Who do you have coming out of the AFC
Out
for
of the
Super Bowl?
AFC,
Mhm.
ooh, uh, you know, I would like to, I would like to see a battle between Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes this year. We didn't get
Mhm.
to see it last year, which was a
Mhm.
huge disappointment because that would have been a lot of fun to watch. I think Kansas City probably pulls it out of the AFC again. They're just so talented on so many levels, offense and defense, and there's not many teams that are going to outscore them. Uh, and especially with a guy like Patrick Mahomes, it's going to be tough to beat. But I'm looking for a Ravens Chiefs AFC Championship game. I think that'll be a lot of fun to watch, and but I think Kansas City pulls it out and goes back to the Super Bowl.
What about the NFC?
NFC. I'm not entirely sure with that one. That one's one that could kind of be a toss up. You have obviously Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You have Drew Brees and the New Orleans Saints. I'd like to see Aaron Rodgers have a bounce back season.
Yep.
San Francisco still has a lot of talented players and could possibly move on to the Super Bowl for the second year in a row. I'm gonna go with I'll go with the Saints, Chiefs Saints in the Super Bowl this year.
Okay. Yep. You're up my alley. I only had Baltimore actually beating the Chiefs, and I had Green Bay for some reason is standing out to me versus New Orleans, but of course New Orleans pulling that one off. So I have a weird bracket, I know, but Baltimore, New Orleans for me. Obviously KC and New Orleans for you. New Orleans is just the team. I mean,
yeah,
it really is, and it starts with the coaching.
And it's a little personal for me. The Saints have been my number 2 team for a long time, and I'm a big fan of Drew Brees. Have been for a long time, and big fan of Sean Payton. I drafted Michael Thomas this year in one of my teams, so I'm gonna need him to play really well. But at the same time, you bring up the Green Bay Packers. They struggled a little bit last year, especially offensively. And Aaron Rodgers, who has been such a good quarterback for so long and probably on his way to the Hall of Fame, I'm looking for him to have kind of a bounce back season.
Yep.
And prove that he's still one of the elite quarterbacks in this league.
Most definitely. I mean, and like you said, you love New Orleans. Well, I definitely love New Orleans because obviously when Hurricane Katrina hit, they were moved down here for training camp, practiced at my old high school, and I tell you what, they did some great things for the community, even though they were hurting. They gave a lot to our school and this community, and obviously San Antonio by having 3 games here. We kind of fell in love with them, and I will never forget those 3 games. I was able to work and go to and try to see that. So, they hold a very special place in my heart. So I'm a New Orleans Saints fan, but I guarantee there's one other team I will be watching, obviously game 1, and he may not even play, but I'm still going to watch, and that's going to be the Raiders. I really, really want to see Jason Witten in a Raiders uniform for some reason. Number 82, obviously leaving the Cowboys. I'm heartbroken. I mean, I thought he'd retire as a Cowboy and forever be a Cowboy, but you got to go where the money goes, and he may not play. He's going to be one of those guys that just kind of coaches from the sideline. But just to see him in that uniform is going to be quite a shock. I tell you that.
Yeah, and the Las Vegas Raiders are going to be an interesting team to watch. Obviously moving to Las Vegas, there's a lot of hype around them, and for sure. I mean, Jason Witten was such a staple of the Dallas Cowboys, and he was there for so long and was so good for so long, and it's going to be tough for a lot of Cowboys fans to see that. But sometimes you just got to move on, and you saw it with Tom Brady, you see it with Jason Witten, and you see it with a lot of other guys towards the end of their career. Sometimes you still feel that there's still something left in the tank, and the team you've been with and lived with and loved just can't find a way to get a deal done there, and you have to walk away. But it's definitely going to be interesting for Cowboys fans to see that, and definitely a guy that you never think would be in a different uniform.
Definitely. Aaron, it's been fun. Thank you so much for joining me on another edition of King's Court and talking sports with you. Definitely going to probably have to recap this again on Sunday, see where we stand. And lot of crazy sports going to take off this weekend, and we'll see how much of the actual sports will get played. But we're definitely going to have a lot to talk about next week.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm excited for everything to get going, and obviously everything that's been going on is going to continue, and we're going to have a lot of good games coming up, and a lot of things to talk about.
Well, hopefully we get close to crowning a champion in the NBA. Obviously, baseball. Well, we'll get about 3/4 of the way there.
And, a little bit over half, so we're getting there.
And then we'll know a champion or close to it for NHL hockey as well. And I don't know, Vegas Knights, come on, don't let me down. But we'll see what happens. But buddy, it's been fun chatting with you, and thank you so much for joining us on another edition of King's Court. Hope you guys check it out on your local podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, whatever you guys choose to listen to us. We appreciate it. And Aaron, you have a good one.
You too. It was great talking to you again.
All right. Thanks, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
Don't forget, guys, to check us out. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts. Check out kingscourtwithjj.com. kingscourtwithjj.com. Check out this latest podcast. Also coming up pretty soon, Stephanie Montiel. Going to be talking about her Musica Ford. Stephanie Montiel coming up later this week. Thanks for checking us out, guys, and have a great holiday.